Senator, welcome back to National Report. Okay, Trump administration 2.0 is back in charge. Are you hopeful that they actually get to the bottom of COVID-19?
You know, we're excited about the Trump administration actually helping. We've been through several years of the Biden administration actually trying to hide the ball, covering up what had happened, obscuring the truth, and really refusing to give any records concerning this. I've been trying for over 3 years to get non-classified records about the decision to fund the research in Wuhan, and it's been denied. But I can tell you, under Secretary Kennedy, under Jay Bhattacharya, the records are beginning to flow. And what we're discovering is, yes, they did debate over whether or not it was gain of function. Fauci said everybody said it was not gain of function. Well, we're going to get to the bottom of this. And ultimately, Dr. Fauci is going to need to come back in and explain why he made this decision. There ultimately will be an interview, either voluntarily or involuntarily, if he won't come. He will have to come back and explain to the American people why he decided to fund this research in China. This may be one of the greatest medical errors in modern history, and he bears a large part of the responsibility for this.
Sure. And it doesn't stop with the DNI. President Trump signing an executive order ending all present and all future federal funding of gain-of-function research in foreign nations like China, Iran. What are your thoughts on this executive order signed by the president?
You know, I think it's a great idea. It's going to ultimately need to be followed up by a change in the law. I have a bipartisan bill that passed last session unanimously. I'm going to pass it again out of committee as well. And I'm hoping that we can make legislation occur. The reason you need legislation is if one administration fixes it, the next administration just come in and unfixes it or takes away the reform. So really what we need to do is have law. We actually have some bipartisan support for reform legislation. My legislation would let President Trump create a commission or a council of scientists that would oversee this. The reason you need a council to make active decisions is people define gain of function in different ways. Anthony Fauci said, well, the reason the research in Wuhan didn't get extra scrutiny is he defined it as not being gain of function. Now, almost everybody disagrees with him, but that's what he did, is he defined away the problem. So reforms are good, but I think there actually needs to be an active council of scientists and also scientists who are not receiving government money from NIH.
Sure.
What Fauci did is he brought in scientists who were receiving grants, and then when they did what he told them to do, he gave them larger grants. One scientist got an $8 million grant after doing Fauci's bidding. So what we don't want is extortion, bribery, or influence schemes going on. And we think our legislative reform is the ultimate fix, but we're happy with what Trump administration has done so far.
You know, we saw on January 20th, just as President Trump was about to be sworn in, President Biden pardons Fauci. So you mentioned you want to hear from him again, whether he's volunteering or not. But what does accountability really look like here?
Well, you know, I think history is going to be a harsh judge for Fauci. He's been given the pardon by Biden, so the chance that he goes to jail for the felonies that he committed, such as lying to Congress, are unlikely. But we are still going to get to the bottom of the decision he made and make sure that history remembers him as the person who made the bad call to send money to a totalitarian regime in an unsafe lab to do very, very dangerous research. And this was just a medical error, a judgment error that will, I think, resound through history. But he shouldn't get away with it. The left still wants to protect him, and I want to make sure he's responsible because I want to make sure that it doesn't happen again. I want to make sure the public is so upset with that decision that we never let anybody get in power again who would make this kind of decision.
Yeah, put as much of the facts as you can out there for the American people to see.
Information. Truth is freedom. Is Newsmax. It's real news for real people.